you want to build bigger triceps and a powerful upper body? If so, this is the workout for you. I'm going to take you step by step through a triceps focused workout. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make, especially when they're looking to build more muscular arms, is they spend a lot of time focusing on their biceps and not quite as much on their triceps. The reality is your triceps make up 75% of your upper arm girth. So the quickest way to have bigger arms as a whole is to actually emphasize your triceps a bit more. Now, I'm going to take you step by step from warm up through heavy compound exercise all the way down to my favorite finisher. And in this workout, once you're done, you're going to have a skin splitting pump and everything that you need to build bigger arms. Before you go any further, it's 100% crucial that you watch the rest of this video and hit subscribe now. To kick things off, I'm going to take you through my power primer protocol sequence. What we do here, first, we focus on mobilizing the tissues that we're going to focus on. Then we focus on stabilizing. And then third, we focus on activating. So to mobilize, we're going to do what's called a sideline windmill. It's going to help improve overall shoulder mobility. That's going to help when we get to a bench press. Then we're going to hit a bottoms up kettlebell press, which is crucial for building shoulder stability. Also a great way to warm up all the tissues in your upper body. And then third, we're going to hit a plyometric push-up. This is going to be done to activate fast twitch, high threshold motor units within your muscle fibers. When we do this, it's basically turning the lights on and going to help you recruit more muscle fibers for the subsequent heavier exercises that we're going to perform. All right, sideline windmill, leg over the top, bottom arm comes up, and now I'm working circumduction, big range of motion all the way through the shoulder. I like to do this before most of my upper body workout days, and frankly, on days where I'm spending a lot of time behind a screen, let's do 5-6 reps, and then flip sides. Knee over the top, bottom arm, then I'm rotating as we come up. Right shoulder's a little bit stickier than the left, so you're gonna find some imbalances when you do the sideline windmill. All right, half kneeling bottoms up press. We go bottoms up because instead of holding this typically with, I guess, the weight down, we flip it. So we're up here. It creates a crushing grip sensation where you really have to squeeze that thing as hard as possible. I'm squeezing the glute on the down leg right here. That helps lock in your core for optimal stability. The key here is just to go slow, really groove those pressing mechanics. 5 to 8 reps. Not trying to set records here either. 15 to 25 pounds is fine for most people. And this weight's dancing already. Normally I don't have a problem with a 35 pounder, but that happens. You trade in the elements. All right, about to do a plyometric push-up. Throwing on a wrist wrap real quick. Right wrist gives me a few issues. I box as well, so I'm trying to protect that thing as much as I can. The reason that we do this is we want to activate fast twitch muscle fibers. When we do this, it gives us more strength, more power. When we can recruit more muscle fibers, we can then fatigue them more effectively when it comes to the workout itself. So I'm going to be going explosive on each rep, trying to generate as much force on each rep as I can. It's not about doing the entire set as fast as possible. It's about applying as much force as possible. Really important distinction. Five reps, little break, then I'll run back through that entire warm-up 2 times. I'm gonna hit a quick set of 50 reps on a band tricep pushdown. The goal here isn't to focus on tempo, I'm simply just repping out, and I'm doing this to pump the triceps full of blood and make sure that everything is feeling good before we hit a heavy barbell exercise. If you've ever had any elbow pain or dysfunction, you know that it's a real pain in the butt to get rid of. A lot of times you have to do some soft tissue therapy like active release techniques. A better thing than relying purely on fixing the problem is avoiding it in the first place. So in a case like this, if you can pump your elbows full of blood, you're gonna feel a lot better when it comes to your barbell work. I'm probably gonna lose track. But the point isn't doing the reps, the point is pumping the triceps full of blood. we're moving on to our first big compound exercise. My favorite way to build bigger triceps, gonna be a close grip bench press. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make with a close grip bench press is they go way too close. Our hands are right here. The reality is we wanna be hands basically on the edge of the knurling. That's kind of that change between the smooth part and the grippy aspect of the barbell. If you go too close, you're gonna put a ton of stress directly on your elbows and wrists, and you're gonna actually be at a mechanical disadvantage in not being able to use as much weight. That's gonna limit the overall ability of your triceps to grow. So we're gonna do a close grip bench press, hands 12 to 14 inches apart. Now we're gonna do 2 warm-up sets of about 8 to 10 reps, and then 2 heavier work sets of 5 to 6 reps. I prefer a little bit lower rep ranges when it comes to training the triceps with a heavy compound exercise. That's just gonna help you build more strength, and it's gonna have some really good carryover to your bench press. Ramp loading is one of the most misunderstood things that people miss out in the gym. As an example, I'm not gonna jump right into a heavy work set. Imagine that you bench 135. If you walked into the gym and you're cold and you try to jump right to 135, guess what? Your body's not gonna be optimally prepared to really handle that load. It becomes more and more important as you get stronger, right? And so what you wanna do is take a couple sets, gradually ramp up. These don't count as work sets. So if you see a workout that says 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, you shouldn't just go in cold and do the first work set of 3 before you've touched a bar. Right? Your body needs a little bit of time to ramp up. So start with about 50% of the weight you would normally use, hit 5 to 8 reps, increase it to 75, 5 to 8 reps, and then once you're about 90% of that first starting weight, hit anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. What this is gonna do, it's gonna help activate your central nervous system. It's gonna warm up the tissues and really get you prepared to maximize overall training effect that you have. If you skip these gradual ramp up processes, well, think of it this way. You're probably gonna use less weight, and that overall training response is gonna be much less. So if you're trying to get up to 135 as an example, but you're starting at 95, 115, and then you don't get there to the last set, you've really only done 1 work set instead of 3 because you haven't properly warmed your body up. It's making your training a lot less effective and frankly, wasting your time in the gym. A lot of people go way too narrow whenever they're doing a close grip bench press. You don't have to be real tight in here. What happens then, we put a lot more stress directly on the wrist and elbow. In addition, when we're at that acute angle, we're not actually able to generate as much force, and we're gonna be a little bit weaker, which results in us creating less mechanical tension directly on the triceps. So your hand position should be right on the edge of the knurling and the smooth part of the bar. This is about 14 inches apart. Any closer, really you're gonna start working against yourself. Again, first warm-up set, 135, ramp it up, 165. I'll probably do another one at 185, just to gradually feel things out. Notice how I settle right here for a second. This gives your body time to stabilize, and it's control and eccentric, and drive with power. All right, last warm-up set here, 185. Let's probably knock out 3 to 5 reps. Again, gradually ramping up, see how it feels. There isn't a set in stone method to ramping up, right? You kind of gotta experiment with it and find what works for you. All right, so let me get tucked in. Arch, hand position. I'm gonna get up and tight, settle. Now control and power. Felt better than the last couple. That's kind of how warming up works, right? First couple felt a little took a second to get in the groove. That last set felt lighter than 135. That's the power of warming up. Work set 225. Not gonna lie, guys, so this is like my 4th day of filming in a row. So sometimes, you know, stuff that happens when you run a fitness business is you have to overtrain a little bit. So we're gonna see how this goes right now. It is hot as shit in here. I'm doing chalk basically between every single set. Ordered a fan on Amazon, and you know, I'm supposed to be here 3 days ago. It still is in here. So here I am cooking with a 110 heat index, more or less, right now in South Carolina. All right, so going 245. Close grip bench is one of those you gotta be careful, because when your triceps are cooked, they are cooked. So notice I do not have clips on in case I've ever got to bail. But that's an exercise you generally want to have a spotter on. If you want to lose fat and build muscle, the number one thing you need to do, join our Look Great Naked protocol. Head to the link below, book your transformation call, and hit subscribe. It is time for dips. Dips are such an underrated exercise, and they get a bad rap because for a lot of people, they can cause some shoulder issues. So if these are not a great exercise for you, that's completely okay. There are lots of different variations that you can do. However, we're gonna be doing dips here, and a slight variation in terms of how you perform them. You see, if you lean forward when you're doing a dip, that's gonna be actually a little bit more chest focused. Now, because we're focusing more specifically on the triceps, we're gonna keep a vertical torso. This is gonna put more tension directly on the triceps. We're gonna do 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Again, this is that great rep range where we're hitting some strength and then some muscle building capacity. So this is an excellent way to do it. 4 sets of 6 to 8, rest about 90 seconds between. I'm gonna increase the weight on each and every single set. Body weight. £35. Third work set, we'll add 60 pounds. Next, we have decline dumbbell skull crushers. I'm gonna use dumbbells for this. You can also use an easy bar, different variations, that's fine. Whatever's gonna feel easiest on your joint. It is superset time, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna focus on a cable triceps push down. So right here, isolating, really flexing as hard as possible. This is gonna allow us to hit the medial head and the lateral head of the triceps a little bit more individually. Key here, go slow, go under control. A lot of people curl over the top instead of keeping the elbows pinned and getting all the range of motion directed through the elbow. This is a mistake, and for some people can actually lead to some shoulder discomfort. Then we're also gonna superset that with the overhead triceps extension. Bar none, this might be my favorite isolation exercise to build bigger arms, and it really trains that long head. And so you'll see my elbows actually drifting back as I go and then extend. Just an incredible exercise. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps on each exercise. So we do the push down, take a short break, then we go the overhead extension. This is gonna leave you with an incredible pump. Cable tricep push down, one of my favorite exercises. This one really hammers that lateral head that kind of crosses over the side. Again, when you're looking at somebody straight on, that well-developed lateral head of the tricep is gonna really add some width, some girth directly to the arm and just create a more compelling aesthetic. Now, this is an exercise a lot of people mess up. You'll see a lot of people are bent over the top right here. It's essentially a press down instead of a tricep push down. Or they're so far away that their elbows are drifting all over the place. In all cases, this takes the focus directly off of the triceps. If we're gonna isolate a muscle with an isolation exercise, we probably wanna focus on hitting that muscle, right? So I'm gonna bump the weight up just a little bit here and make sure this doesn't fall on me. And just pay close attention, right? So I'm gonna keep my elbows pinned during the entire set, slight bend in my knees, just a little bit of an angle. And now it's just gonna be down, lock, and squeeze, right? So just very controlled, owning every inch of the moment. A lot of people try to jack the weight up way too much on tricep push down variations. Much better option is to really flex at the bottom and squeeze your tricep as hard as you can to get the most bang for your buck. So I'm gonna do 8 to 10 reps here. This is still a little bit light, so I'll bump it up on the next one. Then I'm gonna move over to the next exercise in our superset, the overhead extension. Now the second set in our superset is the overhead tricep extension. So with elbows coming back and drifting just slightly, we're really gonna hammer the long head. Personally, some people like to really anchor their elbows when they're doing this exercise. I like to let a small stretch happen. On the backside, I just feel a lot more directly in my tricep. And again, we'll go 8 to 10 reps. And we're not trying to go as heavy as possible. We're trying to maximize that contraction. Right here, I'm anchored and flex. Slight stretch. And so I'll go through this superset, 45 to 60 seconds rest between each exercise, and increasing the weight on each set. Now the final exercise in this workout is a single arm triceps kickback. I'm not a big fan of using dumbbells for kickbacks. Much better option is gonna be using a cable attachment. We're gonna be doing 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps and really getting a hard squeeze. Now, kickbacks, when we have the tension of a cable, it really matches the strength curve a lot more effectively than dumbbells, making it so much more of an effective muscle building exercise. One thing that's important to remember, right? Building muscle, specifically your triceps, isn't about just getting a pump or just lifting heavy. What you wanna be able to do is match multiple different demands. We want to be able to create mechanical tension with heavy weight through a full range of motion, and we want to be able to create metabolic stress directly in the muscle. That is the pump. When you start to blend both of these aspects, that's where you get the best of both worlds. That's where you get stronger and how you build bigger, more defined triceps. Finally, cable tricep kickback. Love this exercise. We're not gonna actually have a handle on, so we're just gonna grab kind of the end piece of the bearing. And so what we're gonna do, hinge over, wanna keep that upper arm flat, and then just extend out. Guys, I'm using like 1 plate on this cable stack. My triceps are smoked, and it's all about maintaining position and getting the best contraction possible, right? So very simple. Yep, and I'm on fire. 3 reps in. We're gonna aim for 12. And I'm almost not completing that contraction on the end. So you don't need a whole lot of weight to make this effective. Hey, so there you have it, a step-by-step workout to build bigger, more defined and muscular triceps. So if you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure that you hit subscribe and drop me a thumbs up. Any other questions? Can't wait to hear from you below. Thanks again.